welcome to All for the Journey. I'm your journey reader, Eric. Today's reading is taken from the book of Numbers, chapters 27 through 30. Our scheduled reading follows the Bridges for Peace Ignite the Truth Bible reading plan. Let's begin in prayer. Father God, once again, we want to say thank you for the privilege of allowing us to spend this time with you. Pray, Father God, that you will please forgive us for any and all unconfessed sins, Lord, so our prayer will not be hindered. Thank you for this time. I pray, Lord, that your spirit and your word, Lord, speaks to us clearly, to our hearts and our minds. Please remove any distractions. It's in the powerful and wonderful name of your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we do pray. Amen. Numbers, chapters 27. The daughters of Zelophehad. Now you gotta bear with me. There's some big names in here, so just bear with me. The daughters of Zelophehad. One day a petition was presented by the daughters of Zelophehad, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. Their father Zelophehad was the son of Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of Joseph. These women went and stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest, the tribal leaders, and the entire community at the entrance of the tabernacle. Our father died in the wilderness without leaving any sons, they said. But he was not among Korah's followers who rebelled against the Lord. He died because of his own sin. Why should the name of our father disappear just because he had no sons? Give us property along with the rest of our relatives. So Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord replied to Moses, the daughters of Zelophehad are right. You must give them an inheritance of the land with their father's relatives. Assign them the property that would have been given to their father. Moreover, announce to the people of Israel, if a man dies and has no sons, then give his inheritance to his daughters. And if he has no daughters, turn his inheritance over to his brothers. And if he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. But if his father has no brothers, pass on the inheritance to the nearest relative in his clan. The Israelites must observe this as a general legal requirement, just as the Lord commanded Moses. One day the Lord said to Moses, climb to the top of the mountain east of the river and look out over the land I have given the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you will die as Aaron your brother did, for you both rebelled against my instructions in the wilderness of Zin. When the people of Israel rebelled, you failed to demonstrate my holiness to them at the waters. These are the waters of Meribah at Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. Then Moses said to the Lord, O Lord, the God of the spirits of all living things, please appoint a new leader for the community. Give them someone who will lead them into battle, so the people of the Lord will not be like sheep without a shepherd. The Lord replied, take Joshua, son of Nun, who has the Spirit in him, and lay your hands on him. Present him to Eleazar the priest before the whole community, and publicly commission him with the responsibility of leading the people. Transfer your authority to him so the whole community of Israel will obey him. When directions from the Lord is needed, Joshua will stand before Eleazar the priest, who will determine the Lord's will by the means of sacred lots. This is how Joshua and the rest of the community of Israel will discover what they should do. So Moses did as the Lord commanded and presented Joshua to Eleazar the priest and the whole community. Moses laid his hands on him and commissioned him his responsibilities, just as the Lord had commanded him through Moses. chapter 28, the daily offerings. The Lord said to Moses, "Give these instructions to the people of Israel. The offerings you present to me by fire on the altar are all my food, and they are very pleasing to me. See to it that they are brought at the appointed time and offered according to my instructions. Say to them, when you present your daily whole burnt offerings to the Lord, you must offer 2 one-year-old male lambs with no physical defects. One lamb will be sacrificed in the morning and the other in the evening. With each lamb, you must offer a grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour mixed with 1 quart of olive oil. This is the regular burnt offering ordained at Mount Sinai, an offering made by fire, very pleasing to the Lord. Along with it, you must present the proper drink offering consisting of 1 quart of fermented drink with each lamb poured out in the holy place as an offering to the Lord. Offer the second lamb in the evening with the same grain offering and drink offering. It too is an offering made by fire, very pleasing to the Lord. On the Sabbath day, sacrifice 2 one-year-old male lambs with no physical defect. They must be accompanied by a grain offering of 3 quarts of choice flour with mixed with olive oil and a drink offering. This is the whole burnt offering to be presented each Sabbath, in addition to the regular daily burnt offering and the accompanying drink offering. On the first day of each month, present an extra burnt offering to the Lord of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. These will be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts with each bull, 3 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each lamb. This burnt offering must be presented by fire, and it will be very pleasing to the Lord. You must also give a drink offering with each sacrifice, 2 quarts of wine with each bull, 2.5 pints for the ram, and 1 quart for each lamb. Present this monthly burnt offering on the first day of each month throughout the year. Also, on the first day of each month, you must offer 1 male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. This is in addition to the regular daily burnt offering and its accompanying drink offering. On the appointed day in early spring, you must celebrate the Lord's Passover. On the following day, a joyous 7-day festival will begin, but no bread made with yeast may be eaten. On the first day of the festival, you must call a sacred assembly of the people. None of your regular work may be done on that day. You must present as a burnt offering to the Lord 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. These will be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts with each bull, 3 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. You must also offer a male goat as a sin offering to make an atonement for yourselves. You will present these offerings in addition to the regular morning sacrifices. On each of the 7 days of the festival, this is how you will prepare the food offering to be presented by fire, very pleasing to the Lord. These will be offered in addition to the regular whole burnt offering and drink offerings. On the 7th day of the festival, you must call another holy assembly of the people. None of your regular work may be done on that day. On the first day of the festival of harvest, when you present the first of your new grain to the Lord, you must call a holy assembly to the people. None of your regular work may be done on that day. A special whole burnt offering will be offered that day, very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs. These will be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts with each bull, 3 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. These will be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts with each bull, 3 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. Also offer 1 male goat to make atonement for yourselves. These special burnt offerings along with drink offerings are in addition to the regular daily burnt offerings and its accompanying grain offering. Be sure that all the animals you sacrifice have no physical defect. Chapter 29, Offering of the Festival of Trumpets. The Festival of Trumpets will be celebrated on the appointed day in early autumn each year. You must call a solemn assembly of all the people on that day, and no regular work may be done. On that day you must present a burnt offering very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defect. These must be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts with the bull, 3 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. In addition, you must sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for yourselves. These special sacrifices are in addition to your regular monthly and daily burnt offerings, and they must be given with the prescribed grain offerings and drink offerings. These offerings are given to the Lord by fire and very pleasing to him. 10 days later, you must call another holy assembly of all the people. On that day of atonement, the people must go without food, and no regular work may be done. You must present a burnt offering very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. These offerings must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offerings of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts of choice flour with the bull, 3 quarts of choice flour with the ram, and 2 quarts of choice flour with each of the 7 lambs. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering. This is in addition to the sin offerings of atonement and the regular daily burnt offering with its grain offering and the accompanying drink offerings. 5 days later, you must call yet another holy assembly of the people, of all the people, and on that day no regular work may be done. It is the beginning of the festival of shelters, a 7-day festival to the Lord. That day you must present a special whole burnt offering by fire, very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 one-year-old male lambs with all no physical defect. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by a grain offering of choice flour mixed with olive oil, 5 quarts for each of the 13 bulls, 3 quarts for each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offerings with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 2nd day of the 7th-day festival, sacrifice 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 young one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bull, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 3rd day of the festival, sacrifice 11 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by prescribed grain offering and drink offerings. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the fourth day of the festival, sacrifice 10 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 5th day of the festival, sacrifice 9 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offerings, with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 6th day of the festival, sacrifice 8 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 7th day of the festival, sacrifice 7 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings of bull, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. On the 8th day of the festival, call all the people to another holy assembly. You must do no regular work on that day. You must present a burnt offering very pleasing to the Lord. It will consist of 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no physical defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offering and drink offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular daily burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and drink offering. You must present these offerings to the Lord at your annual festivals. These are in addition to the sacrifices and offerings you present in connection with vows, or as free will offerings, burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, or peace offerings. So Moses gave all these instructions to the people of Israel, just as the Lord had commanded him. Chapter 30. Laws concerning vows. Now Moses summoned the leaders of the tribe of Israel and told them, "This is what the Lord had commanded. A man who makes a vow to the Lord or makes a pledge and an oath must never break it. He must do exactly what he said he would do. If a young woman makes a vow to the Lord or a pledge under the oath while she is still living at her father's home, and her father hears of the vow or pledge but says nothing, then all her vows and pledges will stand. But if her father refuses to let her fulfill the vow or pledge on the day he hears of it, then all her vows and pledges will become invalid. The Lord will forgive her because her father would not let her fulfill them. Now suppose a young woman takes a vow or makes an impulsive pledge and later marries. If her husband learns of her vow or pledge and raises no objection on the day he hears of it, her vow and pledges will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept her vow or impulsive pledge on the day he hears of it, he nullifies her commitments, and the Lord will forgive her. If, however, a woman is a widow or is divorced, she must fulfill her vows and pledge no matter what. Suppose a woman is married and living in her husband's home when she makes a vow or pledge. If her husband hears of it and does nothing to stop her, her vow or pledge will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept on the day on the day he hears of it, her vow or pledge will be nullified and the Lord will forgive her. So her husband may either confirm or nullify any vows or pledges she makes to not deny herself. But if he says nothing on the day he hears of it, then he is agreeing to it. If he waits more than a day and then tries to nullify a vow or pledge, he will suffer the consequences of her guilt. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationship between a man and his wife, and between a father and a young daughter who still lives at home. Well, that completes our reading of chapters 27 through 30. I pray that something that was read and said sits with our spirits concerning how God commands us to obey Him. If you're interested in becoming a journey reader, the information is in the description. If you need prayer as well, all the information is in the description for you to reach out. We thank you for reading along with us. God bless you and have a wonderful day.